Tonight, hundreds of people showed up to Blanchette Park in St. Charles, where officials from the EPA discussed concerns of contamination in the Elm Point well field. The city says it's had to shut down 4 of its wells. Laura Barczewski was at that meeting, which wrapped up within the last hour. Laura.
And tonight, the EPA made clear that there is new contamination that they say they're currently investigating around well 6 in St. Charles. I pressed them on where this contamination is coming from. The EPA and the city of St. Charles both spoke at a public meeting, reassuring residents their drinking water is safe despite contamination concerns.
The influent and the effluent that goes to your public drinking water has never shown any detections.
St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer says that is because they shut down the wells before contaminated water could ever leave the wells, pointing to an Ameren substation and a Superfund site.
If there's any indication that there's any carcinogens in, I don't care what the levels are, I'm shutting the well down.
But the most recent contamination is concerning residents, and I asked the EPA about it during the meeting. The new contamination that we're seeing in well 6, where is that coming from? Because we have a lot going on around this, and I feel like a lot of people want to know where this newer contamination detection is coming from.
That's why the investigation is important.
We want to identify where the contamination is coming from, again, so that
the responsible parties can pay for and conduct the cleanup.
The mayor says the private contractor they hired says differently.
This new contamination, did your private sources tell you where it was coming from?
Vindet and Camus are out of business. That was a long time ago. And they came in and did some remediation after those 2 were evaluated. But then, since then, it's been Ameren. They talk about they're out in the fields looking for some other source. Well, there's no other sources that are using vinyl chloride.
Ameren said in a statement tonight they worked on cleanup for years and, quote, Ameren Missouri strongly supports additional EPA-directed testing in the area this year with the cooperation of all parties to determine the source. But residents say this meeting tonight was more frustrating than helpful.
The whole thing's disappointing. It seems like EPA says that there's a solution, but everyone in the community is like, no, you guys aren't doing enough. So I'm just concerned about the residents that are here and how our water's going to be safe.
The mayor says he asked for 2 meetings initially, so this is one of the 2 they asked for, and he's hoping for another one. Now, that public comment period that they were talking about tonight, that extension is still at December 5th. The mayor says he'd like to see that extended even further so there can be more discussion. We have information on ksdk.com about how you can submit a public comment to the EPA. Reporting live in St. Charles, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.